First of all, I want to express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Professor Nahdatul for the opportunity and the honor to give speech in front of the distinguished guests today. I hope that my presentation will give a contribution to the relations between Indonesian people and Japanese people, especially between University of Dosisa and Pesantren Teguiran. To make more effective, let me read my presentation that I was prepared. Since 9/11, there have been prejudices toward Muslims all around the world, especially in the West. Thank God, gradually the tension and prejudices already decreasing. One of the countries which played a significant role in improving the situation is Indonesia, which promoting pluralism and moderate Islam. Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world. Around 200 million people mostly live in Java Island. It is also one of the potential countries in economy as well as in human resources. There are two organizations which play a leading role in promoting moderate Islam. Nahdatul Ulama, meaning the awakening of Islamic priests, and Muhammadiyah. There are also many medium and small organizations who promote it. NU is the Organization of Traditionalist Muslims. NU considered as the biggest Muslim organization in Indonesia, and Muhammadiyah, the Organization of Modernist Muslims, is the second one. Although the headquarters of Nahdatul Ulama is in Jakarta, the strength of Nahdatul Ulama lies in province of East Java, where Nahdatul Ulama was founded in 1926. In East Java and Central Java, the NU organization exists and active down to every kelurahan, the lowest hierarchy of government structure. East Java province consists of 38 kabupaten. Each kabupaten has around 300 kelurahans or desa. But many people have a question whether in the future Indonesian Muslims will stay as moderate Muslims or becoming more radical, because there are still many radical Muslim groups in Indonesia. We have to look back to Indonesian history as a background, analyzing the current situation and the tendency in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the process of becoming Indonesia. Millions of people we call as the Indonesian people who live throughout the big area from Aceh to Papua was formed in quite a long time, more or less 1500 years. It consists of many races, hundreds of ethnic cultures and religions, including local and indigenous religion. All the big religions which exist now in Indonesia came from different origins: Hindu, Buddha, Confucius, Christian, Catholics, and Muslims. Buddhism came to Kalimantan on 5th century, Kingdom of Kutai, to South Sumatra on 7th century, Kingdom of Sriwijaya, and to Java on 8th century, Kingdom of Shailendra. Sriwijaya which was the center of Buddhism development in Southeast Asia, collapsed on 1377. Shailendra built the famous Borobudur temple, which still exists nowadays and become one of the world's 7 wonders. Hindu people founded Kingdom of Majapahit in East Java, 1292 until 1478, and then emerged the Muslim kingdoms in many regions of Nusantara, from the western area, Aceh, to the eastern area, Ternate. That's why from the beginning, society which exists in Nusantara, the name used before Indonesia, already familiar with and live in plural religious atmosphere. The diversity of religious tradition was never a problem in religious practice. On the contrary, each religious tradition came to Nusantara with contribution of values from their civilization and culture. In fact, those values exactly enrich the society life. Hindu Buddhism tradition came from India, introducing the values of philosophy of life, speculative thinking, and highly taste of aesthetical culture. The Indian tradition can be considered as the founder of Nusantara civilization. Then Islam came from the Middle East, which introduced moral ethics and legal tradition in social life. Islam also formed the basis of international trade, especially in the coastal area from Aceh to Maluku. The latest to come was Christian and Catholics, which enriched the civilization of Nusantara, especially in the system of religious organization, the system of secular education, and government bureaucracy. Comprehension of plurality as one of the features of Nusantara was beautifully formulated by a Buddhist intellectual who lived in 14th century in a jargon, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, Tanhana Dharma Mangrawa. Even though different, all religion is one, because every faith will empty and stop in God. We refer the Islamization process of Nusantara to the Nahdatul theory. According to Nahdatul, this process in general consists of three stages. First, the coming of Islam. B, the acceptance of Islam. C, the spread of Islam. Professor Mukti Ali, Minister of Religious Affairs 40 years ago, added one stage more, the emergence of Islamic kingdom. Islam grows gradually in Nusantara. In many regions, differ from one another. The propagation wasn't in unison in each region. While in a new area, some people might be in the introduction of basic policies and the principles of the religious teaching, people in other areas might have entered the phase of the introduction of the rational implications and intellectual of the Islamic teaching of Tawhid. The spread of Islam in Java done by walis or saints. There are many walis in Java, but the most popular are Wali Songo, the 9 saints who came from various places, Arab, Morocco, Chinese, and local area. Many people believe that Wali is a person who has supernatural or divine power. The Wali didn't use sword to spread Islam. They used different approach: training, marriage, and effective communication through local tradition. They didn't reject wayang, a Japanese puppet, Hinduism tradition, but benefited wayang and used it to disseminate Islamic teaching. No doubt that acculturation took place in this process. They developed cultural approach by accommodating certain aspects from those local traditions, beliefs, and wisdom dominated by Hinduism and Buddhism. In this regard, Islam had to respect the other faith that already existed before it in Nusantara. Throughout the process of history and development, Muslims were able to develop mutual respect, understanding, and tolerance toward others. Contrary to Middle East countries, Indonesia is a plural state. This plurality is not only based on ethnicities, races, culture, and languages, but also religion. Obviously, this approach was effective and lasting. Compared to the spread of Islam to Europe, which using war and ended after 7 to 8 centuries, the peaceful spread of Islam to Nusantara is more lasting. The moderate way used by Wali Songo in spreading Islam was adopted by most ulamas in Java. They firmly adopted Islamic thought of Wali Songo called Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah is a school of thought following Ash'arian and Maturidi in theology, following Madhab, school of thought in Islamic law, Maliki, Hanafi, Syafi'i, Hanbali, and following Al-Ghazali and Al-Baghdadi in Tasawwuf, spiritual practice or exercise. They created pesantren or Islamic boarding school as an education institute which gave Islamic teaching. Thousands of pesantrens were the only institution which gave education to the people of Nusantara. At that time, literate means you can read Arabic using Javanese or Malayu language in Arabian script. Ulamas and pesantren's were the party who taught the people about moderate Islam, tolerance and respecting the local tradition. Through education similar with the current Indonesian education system, started when the Dutch built a few secular schools in 1840 due to their demand of administrative employee. In 1901, the Dutch introduced ethics policy which gave more chance to many local people to study in school built by the Dutch. The Dutch opened the School of Medicine, the School of Law, and Institute of Technology. They also give scholarship to the bright Indonesian students to study in Netherlands. Some of the prominent students who were lucky to have the higher education in Java or Netherlands becoming the leaders of Indonesian independent movement. Among them are Sukarno, Muhammad Hatta, Ratulani, Sultan Syahrir, Maramis, Laimena, Muhammad Yamin, Ahmad Subarjo, Agus Salim. Together with the Nusantara Muslim leaders, they formulated the Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia. Sukarno became the first president and Muhammad Hatta became the first vice president of the Republic of Indonesia, which was declared in 18th of August 1945. Since the beginning, there was an ideological conflict between Indonesian leaders, between the Islamists, the communists, and the nationalists. Sukarno proposed Pancasila as the best principles for the new nation state called Pancasila, which made Indonesia a religious state. The communists failed when they tried to have a coup on 1965. Then communism was banned in Indonesia. The Islamic Party was prohibited in 1985. After Suharto was toppled down in 1998, Muslim could set up Islamic Party. But nowadays, there is a trend that people do not prefer Islamic Party. Because Reformation era give more freedom to people, then emerge group of Muslims who want to set up Islamic country or group who want to set up Khilafah Islamiyah in democratic way. To make it worse, there are also Muslim groups with a few members who choose violence as a tool to make their ideas come true. We witnessed the bombing in Bali, Jakarta, and other places in Indonesia with many victims. The police set up a special detachment to combat terrorists and succeed in combating terrorists. But we have to admit that there are still a few people in Indonesia who use violence as their way to fight for their ideas. We are fortunate that most of Indonesian Muslims are moderate Muslim who prefer dialogue than conflict, who respect the other. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I want to express about Nahdatul Ulama. Since the beginning of 19th century, many Muslim students from all over Nusantara went to Makkah to study there. Among them were Kiai Ahmad Dahlan, the founder of Muhammadiyah, and Kiai Hasim Ash'ari, the founder of Nahdatul Ulama. They studied to the same teacher there. Naturally, some of them brought the various Islamic thoughts to Nusantara, including the Puritan one. One of them was Wahhabi and Pan-Islamism. It was unavoidable that there have been frictions between those groups or sects. The Dutch used the frictions to confront the groups. In the second decade of the 20th century, there was a rumor that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will destroy the tomb of Prophet Muhammad and his Sahabats or close friends, because they worry that Muslims will worship the tomb. Many ulamas of group that called themselves as the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah formed Hijaz committee and sent them as mission to meet King of Saudi Arabia to submit petition not to destroy the Prophet's tombs and Islamic heritage. The mission expressed their willingness to teach the Muslim so they won't worship the tomb. Fortunately, the king accepted their petition. Considering the success of the mission and due to the situation, some ulama suggest and push Kiai Hasim Ash'ari, head of Pesantren Tubuireng, the most influential ulama at the time, to form and set up a new organization, especially to accommodate and to coordinate ulama in Nusantara. It took nearly 2 years before Kiai Hasim Ash'ari agreed to the idea. On 31st of January 1926, Nahdatul Ulama was founded in Surabaya by many traditionalist ulama. Kiai Hasim Ash'ari was elected as Rais Akbar, the top leader of the Nahdatul Ulama organization. The new organization was developed through santri of Kiai Hasim Ash'ari, alumni of Pesantren Tubuireng, through their network all over Java. Pesantren has been the basis of Nahdatul Ulama organization and communities for quite a long time. Since most of the Pesantren located in rural area, it is normal that the members and followers of the Nahdatul Ulama live in rural area. Since the first time it was established, the Nahdatul Ulama has two main functions. They are Jam'iyah, Diniyah, religious organization, and Jam'iyah Ijtimaiyah as a community. The quantity of the first is less than the second one. According to survey in 2001, around 40% of Muslims in Indonesia assume that they follow Islamic teaching of Nahdatul Ulama, Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. It is the community. Not all of them are the member of NU organization. As a religious organization, NU has a statute which must be followed based on Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, popularly known as Aswaja, which means people of the Sunnah and the Orthodox community. Definition of this doctrine is given as follows. The Aswaja means people who in theological belief follow Imam Abu Mansur al-Maturidi and Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari, while in fiqh Islamic law follow one school of Islamic thought. They are Maliki, Hanafi, Shafi'i, and Hanbali. In addition, NU follows Al-Ghazali and Imam Junaidi in Islamic mysticism or Sufism. As community, NU has four principles. First, at-tawasud, which is moderate attitude, neither the left extreme nor the right extreme. Second, al-iqtidal, which means the maintenance of harmony. Third, tawazun, which staying
balance in everything, including in using rational justification, dalil akli, and religious justification, dalil akli, based on the Quran and Sunnah. And fourth, amar ma'ruf nahi munkar, or to command what is right and forbid what is wrong. Nahdatul Ulama have three basic elements in terms of making relation to other people. They are ukhuwah basyariyah, human relation, ukhuwah wataniyah, relation with the state, and ukhuwah Islamiyah, relation with Muslim. By upholding these elements, not only is the NU protecting NU members and Muslims, but also Indonesian citizens and all people in the world. Nahdatul Ulama grew rapidly because there were many alumni of Pesantren Tukwireng who became the activists of NU. According to the estimation of the Japanese military headquarters in Java, the total alumni was around 20,000 in 1943. In 1942, Kiai Hasyim Asy'ari was arrested by the Japanese military office at Surabaya because he didn't obey the instruction to do the saikere, to pay respect to the emperor in Tokyo. Several times, thousands of students of Kiai Hasyim Asy'ari protested the policy of Japanese to arrest him. They held demonstration in front of the prison. So the military headquarters considered Kiai Hasyim Asy'ari was the most influential figure among Muslim communities in Java. That's why they asked Kiai Hasyim Asy'ari to be the head of Sumudu, an office to handle the religion affairs, when they founded the institution. Since the office building of Sumudu located in Jakarta, and Kiai Hasyim Asy'ari lived at Jombang, 800 kilometers from Jakarta, his son, Kiai Wahid Hasyim, was appointed as the executive director. Kiai Wahid Hasyim was the father of Abdurrahman Wahid. NU, represented by Wahid Hasyim, the father of Abdurrahman Wahid, during the meeting of preparation committee for Indonesian independence, which was held during May and June 1945, with permission by the Japanese military office. The marathon meeting has shown good result and produced the draft constitution. The day after the declaration of independence, the constitution was formally legalized. The constitution stated every people has the right to choose the religions he believes and practice the ritual. In 1945, NU joined Masyumi Islamic Party, and who had around 8 representatives as members of parliament. In 1952, NU declared itself as political party. No one predicted NU will be a big party. Surprisingly, NU became the 4th biggest party in 1955 election with 39 members in parliament. After 1965 coup, NU became the second political power in Indonesia. In 1973, NU was pushed to fuse with other Islamic parties in PPP, and the non-Islamic party fused in PDI. The third political party is Golkar, the ruler party. In 1984, NU declared that it doesn't belong to any party and independent. NU will focus on social activity, dakwah, education, healthcare. The election of Gus Dur as the chairman of PBNU in 1984 has had a great impact to the young generation of NU. They showed their eagerness to study science besides Islamic studies. Many of them study abroad. Tolerance as a characteristic of NU, which shown to the indigenous religion 100 years ago, was transferred to a new interpretation. Gus Dur showed his bravery to protect the minority, and he also dared to support a group of people who criticized to support the government. Many members of the NU and the NU's affiliate organizations are activists in many NGOs mostly focused in human rights promotion, dissemination of pluralism, and interfaith dialogue. Through that particular concept already mentioned above, the NU members have fruitfully become tolerant people, especially in pertaining to plurality. This condition is the basic condition why the NU has a good relation with other faith-based organizations. Some of the activities are social gathering, to discussion and economic empowerment. Tolerance is a concept which illustrates mutual respect and cooperation between different communities beyond ethnic, language, culture, politics, and religion. In this matter, tolerance is a really novel concept which fully becomes part of religious teaching, including Islam. As it's stated in the Quran, La ikraha fid din, there shall be no compulsion in religion. That is to say that no one has the right to force others into complying with their demands or compelling others to follow their line of thinking. This verse really gives good explanation to us that we cannot force our own belief, especially by using any sort of violence. So if by any chance we see some people conducting violence in the name of religion, they should actually do that based on their own passion, not religion. This teaching can be found especially in Quran, Surah Yunus, and had your Lord willed, those on earth would have believed, all of them entirely. Then Muhammad, would you compel the people in order that they become believers? There are many more Quranic verses and hadith, tradition of the prophets, which suggest us to live in good harmony without any clashes. A tolerance is a form of religious maturity in preserving the religious teaching. It is a primary and main objective of every Muslim because Islam is rahmatan lil alamin, a religion that brings blessings and prosperity for all universe. The good relation between NU and other religious organizations was initiated by Abdurrahman Wahid or Gus Dur. He was the former National Board Director of Nahdatul Ulama and the fourth President of Indonesia. The first interfaith activity he initiated was in 1975 with the East Java Christian Church. This interfaith activity then continued by Hasim Muzadi, the chairman of NU after Abdurrahman Wahid. Last year, Nahdatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah, the second largest Islamic religion in Indonesia, signed Memorandum of Understanding with Vatican. This memo aims to intensify interfaith dialogue between Islam and Catholic, as well as to make humanitarian action. Many of NU youth called Banser, who live in many small cities in East and Central Java, voluntarily help to guard churches during the Christian or Catholic holiday like Christmas. On 25th of December in the year 2000, one Banser member was killed when he tried to save Christians who come to one church in Mojokerto, East Java. He saw a thing that looked like a bomb put by someone in a place near the entrance. He took this bomb and ran as fast as he could and as far as in order to save the crowd. Unfortunately, the bomb exploded in his hand and he was killed. Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished guests, empowering the local community. Most of the NU members live in Java's rural area. Most of the migrant labor, peasant, domestic labor belong to NU community. Their education is only elementary school or junior high school. To make the problem more serious, the quality of schools in rural area in average is below the schools in urban area. Most of the teachers of the school mentioned above are not competent. Their welfare should be improved significantly. They should be trained periodically. According to the Constitution, the government is the party responsible for those duties. Many of NU members study in pesantren, a traditional boarding school which teaches Islamic studies as well as science and social studies. Most of pesantren located in rural areas. More than 10 years ago, I thought that pesantren's role is declining, that pesantren belongs to the past. But now I see that pesantren is one of the valuable assets of Indonesia. It has great potencies. People in rural area prefer to send their children to pesantren than to the regular school because the cost is lower and the parents felt safe that their children are more safe from the social disturbance. The quantity of pesantren increasing the last 5 years. There are more than 25,000 pesantrens in Indonesia with nearly 4 million students, mostly in East Java. The role of Islamic private school in province East Java is dominant. For example, there are 55 senior high school in the Jombang Regency, the place where I live. Only 11 of those are public schools. 13 schools belong to non-Islamic foundation and 30 schools belongs to pesantrens and Islamic foundation. I think that maybe all of nearly 4 districts in East Java province have the same conditions. There are more schools owned and operated by institutions belongs to pesantren or Islamic foundation. Maybe province Central Java has the same condition. But we have to admit that the quality of schools or madrasah in many pesantren should be improved seriously. Affirmative action should be implemented by the government in order to increase the competitiveness of people in rural areas so they can face the challenge of globalization. According to data of Statistics Office, in rural areas only 7 of young people aged 18 to 26 who have the opportunity to study to higher learning institutions. The ideal number is around 25%. There are 2 reasons. A, the capacity of university and higher learning institutions. B, many students could not afford the living cost in big cities like Surabaya, Semarang, Bandung, etc. Some leading pesantren in Java already formed their university in order to improve the condition. It is ideal if the government give financial support to those pesantrens. There are some benefits of good university in rural area. First, to increase competitiveness of the rural people. Second, to reduce or to stop urbanization and flow of middle workers. Third, to minimize the gap between urban area and rural area. And fourth, to minimize religious radicalism in rural area. Muslimat Nahdatul Ulama, or the woman organization of Nahdatul Ulama, the organization affiliated to NU, is the best and the biggest woman organization in Indonesia. In Province East Java and Central Java, Muslimat NU exists in nearly all desa. The total number around 20,000. The members of Muslimat have many activities in every desa. At least they have pengajian, Islamic teachings, jimpitan, collecting a small quantities of rice, maybe 2 spoons for social donation each time they cook. Muslimat NU in many desa have orphanage, kindergarten, cooperation. At Regency level, an area with 300 desa, many Muslimat NU have their maternity center, school and also orphanage. NU members in many regencies in Java, Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi have their hospital, schools, or even universities. We in Pesantren Tebiran founded school social institution to collect donation from our alumni and the people who visit the tomb of Kiai Hasyim As'ari and Gus Dur. Annually, the total amount of donation is around 1 billion rupiah, around $100,000 US. We use the donation to help the poor people around Nahdatul. We have a clinic donated by the Consulate General of the Kingdom of Japan in Surabaya, built 6 years ago. The clinic also helps the poor people around Nahdatul. There are many pesantren in East Java and South Java which has the same activities above. One pesantren in Pasuruan Regency, East Java, named Pesantren Sidogiri, has shown its success in business. The Ulamas of Pesantren Sidogiri founded PMD Islamic Financial Institution around 15 years ago. Nowadays, the PMD have maybe 30 branches in East Java with assets around 800 billion rupiah, around US $90 million. They are also active in many lines of business, like small store like 7-Eleven or Lawson, packaged clean water. The other pesantren have their business like fast food restaurant, agribusiness, travel agency, etc. But I think most pesantren lacks the spirit of entrepreneur and the management skill. Pesantren still need support from the government and other parties to help pesantren to promote entrepreneurship to students of pesantrens and to train them in management skills. Improvement in those two aspects in financial support from banks obviously will have positive impact to the development of rural area and distribution of wealth in Indonesia. In fact, the effort of pesantren and NU to improve themselves is not a new phenomenon. In the year 1980s, Dr.Salahuddin Wahid, as the chairman of NU, asked Institute of Socio-Economic Research Education to create a program in developing Islamic boarding school or pesantren. The institute then made a program to help local communities through pesantren. Some of the programs were on sanitation in Pesantren Anukaya, Sumeneb, East Java. In addition to that program, it also gives special program on economic development in Pati, Central Java, through Pesantren Masakul Kuda, and in Pesantren Teguiran Jombang on education development through library. This program then continued to be non-governmental organization entitled Union for the Development of Pesantren and Community, P3M, which concentrate on local development to pesantren communities. All these programs give us evidence how the NU has contributed to the development of Indonesian society. Firstly, through its interfaith work, which has synergized religions in Indonesia to assist each other, especially in dealing with problems and to prevent any conflict in society. Secondly, through pesantren, Islamic boarding school, NU has been successful in developing local communities which usually marginalized and forgotten by the government. But we are aware there are still many works to do. Ladies and gentlemen, the last one is the challenge to pluralism. From the information above, we know that the idea and implementation of pluralism has been accepted by most of the Muslims in Indonesia. It is because Indonesian Muslims are generally moderate and tolerant toward other religions. But we have to aware that there are several challenges that should be taken into consideration. Current development in Indonesian politics show two contradictory and parallel trends. On one side, it is clear that there is a significant decline in support for Islamic political party. On the other side, Indonesia is witnessing an alarming increase in the influence of religious conservatism and extremism. In the last few years, we are very curious about the rise and spread of radical conservative Muslim groups. Contrary to moderate Muslim, the conservative Muslim groups prefer to have Sharia, Islamic laws, within the state law and regulation. Some of them even to fight for the idea of Khilafah Islamiyah. Indonesia become part of and belong to one Islamic state all over the world. The conservative Muslim groups' formulation of Sharia based on literal, strict and exclusive interpretation. Some name of the group exist: Majelis Mujahidin Indonesia, Jamaah Ansarut Tauhid, Hizbut Tahrir Indonesia, Front Pembela Islam. Most conservative Muslim groups claim that Sharia is the only solution to solve Indonesia's multidimensional crisis. The problem is, a certain group of them justify the use of violence in fighting for implementation of Sharia. The victims of their action are non-Muslim as well as Muslims. They couldn't differentiate between Sharia and state law to give response to a certain case. For example, they respond to the existence of Ahmadiyya and Shia followers in some places in Indonesia. We can still understand when they said that Ahmadiyya and Shia teaching are against the teaching of Islam. Although a few Muslim leaders said that Ahmadiyya and Shia are not against Islam, but it has many basic differences with Sunni Islam. But they opine that Ahmadiyya and Sharia has no right to exist in Indonesia. They don't understand that the right of Ahmadiyya and Shia to exist in Indonesia is guaranteed by the Constitution. There are still prejudices among conservative Muslims, including NU members, against the word pluralism. These prejudices are the effect caused by MUE. MUE stands for is the Indonesian Council of Islamic Priests. Those prejudices are the effect caused by MUE fatwa, which said that religion pluralism is haram or prohibited by Islamic law. We have to work hard to convince them that pluralism is not against Islamic teaching. That there are two kinds of pluralism: social pluralism and theological or religious pluralism. It seems to me that social pluralism is accepted by them and religious pluralism is rejected. In their interpretation, religious pluralism opine that all religions are equal and the truth of religion is relative. In terms of a theological perspective, it is clear that Islamic concepts guide Muslims to respect other religions. In all, Quran mention the existence of Ahlul Kitab, those who have and believe a second book. This terminology doesn't perceive that all religions are as the same, because it is impossible to recognize all religions as equal, because each religion has its own teaching. Rather, it recognizes the right of practices of each religion to exist and perform their rituals. It is stated in the Quran that, "Now then, for that reason, call them to the faith and stand steadfast as thou art commanded, nor follow to their vain desires. But say, I believe in the book which Allah has sent down, and I am commanded to justly among you. Allah is our Lord and your Lord. For us, it is the responsibility for our deeds, and for you, your deeds. There is no contention between us and you. Allah will bring us together, and to Him is our final goal." Another verse of the Quran also need to be stated. Verify those who believe in this divine faith, as well as those who follow the Jewish faith and the Christian and the Sabians, all who believe in God and the last day and do righteous deeds shall have their reward with their Lord, and no fear need they have, and neither shall they grieve. Islam as a religion regards the universe as a whole without dividing the world or separating body and spirit. Islam as a religion is derived from God's revelation that all men are created equal. Islam is, as a man's system of faith, is based on the notion that there are no distinction or race or color, citizens or soldiers, rulers or subjects. History shows that Islam has seen long periods during which tolerance and democratic principles prevailed. Muslims live peacefully with the Jews, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and other faiths adherents under Islamic rule for over 1,000 years in North Africa, Spain, the Middle East, and Central and East Java. It is obvious that freedom of religion has also been practiced in the Muslim world for more than 1,000 years. In this respect, it is clear that Islam has accomplished pluralism in the community. We have to give more attention to MUI, a semi-government organization of ulama founded around 30 years ago. MUI usually issued fatwa regarding the important Islamic issue. One of the most interesting MUI fatwa is this one, is the one which stated that Ahmadiyya is against Islam due to its recognition of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad as a prophet already mentioned above. The second controversial MUI's fatwa is to condemn religious liberalism, secularism, and pluralism. Muslims are strongly prohibited to follow those three concepts. The chairman of NU headquarters is Kiai Sa'al Mahfud, the first man of Nahdatul Ulama. Soon after MUI declared its fatwa, the levels of violence in the name of religion have been increasing until now. This is due to the fact that to a certain extent, ordinary people still consider that fatwa is crucial and must be fully respected without necessarily being asserted critically. We have to understand that many Muslim leaders from NU and Muhammadiyah and other Islamic organizations are also joined MUI in national level and many professions and agencies. We have to give more attention to the fact that in the year 2008 until 2011, the number of cases of religious persecution and intolerant attitudes increased significantly. It is good that recently the number of violence is decreased but still happens. A few years ago, there was an attack to the mosque of Ahmadiyya in Tasikmalaya, West Java. One of the big points of the protection against the religious violence is the indecisiveness of the police. We have to admit that although there are some criticism from many parties, the number of terror in Indonesia already reduced significantly. Lately, there is a petition from Muhammadiyah and some Islamic organizations to dismiss anti-terror special detachment 88. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. I hope this presentation will give benefit for the nation of many regions in the world. Thank you very much.